High-grade blue frame, second L. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net, and if you're a fan of Gundam Astray, the manga gaiden from Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny, well, hopefully you're going to be excited to see this kit 10 years in the waiting. It is the Gundam Astray blue frame, second L. The name is a mouthful, so let's see what you're going to be getting. May 2013 release. 1,700 yen you can make out there, and from high-grade Gundam Seed number 57 in the kit. What a decade it has been, and the fact that we're getting new high-grade kits is always appreciated, especially when they're going to have such great cover art as the one that we see on there. And it should be noted that this one is out specifically because it's got a new series right now, Astray Destiny B. And don't forget you can pick up this kit and lots more from HobbyLink Japan, and there's full links down below. Well, Gundam Seed the anime was airing. Of course, there was going to be a spin-off side story, and that was Gundam Astray, and what a story they told, as we got to see Lo, the Junk Guild in the red frame, and his frenemy Guy in the blue frame there, take on the gold frame in the end. And this blue frame, second L, is specific to that original series, even though it's gone on to have how many different versions. We've got the second G, we've got the third version, and we've also got a master grade of the second revise. But now it's going back to its old classic form, even though they are talking Seed Destiny times. A guy is getting back into the MS that I think everybody likes him in the best. Which is great because we've seen him before in some of his less flattering suits here. You can see his non-grade 300 yen blue frame to kick things off in 2002. Before the red and blue frames both got high grades in 2003, 2004 February here in the case of Guy. But if you take a look at it, he's got the bazooka, which is definitely going to be okay. But when you compare it to his later forms, because Guy loves to upgrade and Lo loves to help him, on occasion this is not what we wanted. But eventually in 1/100th non-grade, we got the red frame in 2004, and there it is, the second L. And eventually, when both of these guys got master grades, people were definitely disappointed that we got the second revise, which was popular from the series at the time, but nonetheless, it's the second L that I think people want the most, and the fact that it's coming home in a new, better high-grade figure, the fact we're getting 2.0s of these kits is just great 10 years on. Box to an hour there, you've got a front shot of it, and if you compare it to just the regular blue frame, you can see that when he's got the revised shoulders there and just extra armor, and more importantly, the tactical arms on the back, this is the one that I think everybody's been wanting to see, and now it's here in 1/144th. It's got lots of features in there. You can see the armored Schneiders are going to be attached onto the hips there. And the tactical arms is going to have its 3 transformations, as it can go from flight mode there, a very cool backpack which is going to go well with the red frame and its flight unit coming out soon. It also transforms into Gatling and sword modes, which you can see over here, and it's going to be coming with a display base there in custom form. You can see that that's going to be both propping up the sword, and when it's in its flight mode there, it can also help it in the back. And when it's in its Gatling form, it's actually going to have the 2 points touching down. Can't wait to see the transformation there. And you can see he's even going to have armored Schneiders there in his boots, so he's got 4 in total, and check out those poses. HG 2.0 indeed. The other side of the box is going to show off some great CG there, as you get to see that massive sword that was lent right when it was needed to the red frame. And you can see the scenes. Yes, a lot of people definitely wish that this had been animated more than the 5-10 minutes that we've already seen, because it would have been nice to see even more of Murakumo Guy and Serpentail, the mercenaries who were always up to some good on occasion, as they did it with the Heart of Gold, just in a lot cooler and more rational way than Lo ever could dream of. And you can also see him there in his proper on-screen colors, even though that's a little bit strange there. He is going to work with an Action Base 2, which the old ones did not there, as you can see that he's got the Action Base 2 and the included display base holding him up. Lots of colors in all the right places. How many will be seals? How much will be plastic? How far have HG 2.0s come over the years? Especially when you're dealing with that complex frame there on the inside. And he's also going to be coming with some custom color markings there, Serpentail, so you can make this even more Guy-ish if you want. So it's inside the box we go to see what you're going to be getting. Yes, plates of orange there, and it looks like not the parts for the tactical arms. Disappointing. Blue polycaps there, black for the other parts to go around for all the details on the back and for the legs. Some small white parts there and lots of seals. I suppose that's to be expected, but always something you'd prefer to avoid if you're getting a new kit like this. And then on the inside, you're going to have some more custom stuff there with his display base, more black parts, and in the bottom, you're going to have that great cover art there from the manual. For the plates themselves, how great is this? To kick things off here, you've got A1 and A2 here as 1.75 plates, and the name that's written on there is High Grade 1/144th Astray frame, so you know we're going to be seeing a lot more of this with the red frame and the gold frame on its way. Here you can see the parts with the tactical arms, so conceivably they could be putting out a red frame with that attached on if they wanted. You can see that all of these things are detachable though, so they don't have to print that when you're going to be doing things like the gold frame. The inner details here for the actual legs and the frame itself that puts the frame here in the red and blue frame are looking fantastic. Details all around, and anything that's going to be exposed is going to be good. For the unique parts up here, you've got the manipulators, just 4 of them there, and the chest parts for the non-symmetrical parts and swiveling hips. Things are off to a very nice 2013 start. The B plate here in this configuration, and I've got to note how just popping this blue color is going to be labeled Astray Blue Frame 2nd L. So this is custom. Of course, they've always got the option of adding more parts on there, but you're going to have the display base there, so you can actually hold up the flight pack in the back and the sword when it's out. You've got the part up there for the eyes, and you can see some parts that are going to be attached on to the sword itself, and that all-important insect Mushi V-fin that he's going to have there, and set himself very much apart from his first incarnation when he first got his hands on the blue frame, and definitely a knock against that old high grade. Now it's been totally fixed. C1 and C2 here are 1.25 plates, and you can see that this is going to be providing the other color to go in there. You can see it in places that we're going to get in the chest. You've also got the handle there for the big sword, the backpack attachment points. The Gatling gun components there are looking pretty good. And for the parts that are going to be applied in 2 places, well, you've got the feet and the armored Schneiders looking very good. And they're even going to have these connecting pieces, which have small parts before you actually put them in the hilt. Everything is looking sharp so far. D1 is going to have an attachment piece that goes up on the top that I'll show you in a moment here, but this goes back to just saying Astray frame, so we'll be seeing more of this, although you can just see here how many detachable segments there are, so that they can be ejecting these all over the place, whether we're talking about something like, oh, let's say a noir or something like that. But more importantly, back to the business at hand, you can see the legs looking really good. They're going to be exposing the blue or whichever color should be there on the inside. The knees are looking sharp. The tops of the actual thighs are going to actually have some little cutout parts there to be exposing some color inside. You can see the face part there and the head, which is going to make this blue frame stand out. And the chest is going to be exposing a lot. Not RX-78-2 yellow on the inside, but the nice blue frame instead. The shoulders are just waiting for those orange caps on there, and otherwise we've got some nice white details there to add on for edging. With D2 actually being an addition to that plate, it's not going to be adding or copying anything there. If you're talking about symmetry, you've got the manipulator covers there and some parts for the front and the rear skirts there, and you can also see some other small details for attaching onto the head. Everything nicely lined, nicely edged. Definitely 10 years progress can be seen. And finally, this of course is going to be custom for the 2nd L. The orange here, hopefully it's coming across on the camera, looks fantastic, especially when you see it next to that white and blue. It's going to be popping and the old high grade is going to be put to shame. The big disappointment though is that the Gatling gun should have 4 big orange pieces there. They're not going to be provided here, which means you know where they are provided. On the dreaded sticker sheet here, Gundam Astray Blue Frame 2nd L, custom name down there. You can see all the green parts for the head and any scopes that are needed. You can see that he's even going to have orange for under the eyes there. That's provided against the black and the green there. He's got some other orange details, but otherwise it's going to be these blue parts that look like they're going to be attaching onto the forearm. And you've also got all these white parts, but it's these big orange ones there that when I saw the tactical arms with all the colors in all the right places, I was really excited. When you see this, definitely not as much. It's the kind of thing where as far as high grades have come, they're really never going to match up with the sealless master grades that we've all come to enjoy over the last while. Blue polycaps are a nice touch, as they do for these colorful frames, and you can also see that you've got some custom markings there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, and you've got Serpentail number 1 there, as you get to get a guy leading his teams out there, and look at that name at the bottom there, definitely a mouthful. Can't get enough of cover art like that, and the name is simply written down there, as Lo got to fix this up his style instead of Guy's. Surprisingly, it's a 5-page manual there, as you get to see some more great pictures that we've already seen. Look at the Gatling gun there on the inside. You can see where the orange is going to be provided by seals. However, the shoulders are at least going to be done up in plastic, a huge plus. And for the high-grade tactical arms to be able to transform between the 3 forms is something that is quite exciting. For the mechanisms there, he's just looking great. I wish we got to see more of this animation there. Armored Schneider's coming out of the boots, Crossbone Gundam style, looking good. And how about having him and Low duel up in the air on Action Base 2s, thanks to their flight packs and forms. But to the inside we go, where you can see the plates laid out there as that D1, D2 separation. They're going to tell you how to replace everything. Nothing fancy in terms of replacement parts for price. You can see you've got some nice details up there going into the head and the arms there. The shoulders looking great. You're going to be putting seals on in a few different places there, including on top of the orange. Once you've got the arms together and the legs, you can see that it's not going to take all that many pages for you to get through and actually have this guy built all up. And you can see that the Armored Schneiders are going to have some nice details there before they get attached onto the hips. But the Gatling gun details are looking good there with 4 barrels looking huge. You can see where the seals are going to be getting attached on there. And once you build up that backpack with even more details, lots of colors in short order. Just wish there was orange in there as well. With the handle looking good, you can see the way it's going to get attached onto the backpack in its natural flight form. Before we get to see the helping stand that's going to hold it up in the air there, how to deploy the Armored Schneiders and get him kicking out of his boot there. And if you want to go for the transformation here into his sword form, you're going to take it off, twist a variety of things, and once you do that, you can put it in hand. Hopefully it's actually going to stay there, and you can get it up in the air with the help of the base. And if you want to go into the Gatling gun form, straighten everything out, bend those parts down, and something you don't want to meet when you're playing an FPS online. Finally, on the back, they've got a painting guide there, pointing very clearly to where you should be putting on the 5 main colors there. The sensors, the green doesn't really need to count there. And you can see for white 95% with just a medium blue there, a drop of 5%. And for the famous blue that makes up this frame, it's Indie Blue 70, Cobalt Blue 20, and White 10, as you get to see more of the main man himself down there. Marking seals, when you put them on, you can put the names of the MS on there, just in case you weren't sure whether this was the L or the G. And more art, if only we got to see it animated more often. So a fun unbox with some pros and cons here. First of all, just the fact that we're getting this kit 10 years on, thanks to the fact that Astray just comes back again and again and again, whether it's written prose or in manga, again, just not animated. But the plastic itself is looking good, and the fact that it's going to be used again and again for the red, for the gold, maybe for the green, maybe for the noir, we'll have to see. But there's some great stuff in there, and the layouts obviously have been well planned out, as Bandai can eject whichever sections of these plates as they need. And this is definitely a big plus, and it's the kind of thing that the old high grade and non-grade were missing the most, and just really the only disappointment is just going to be in the seals. However, is it to be expected for this reasonably priced 1700 yen kit? Anyway, stick around to see it all put together, and you can leave your verdict then. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Now, hear me out. How about this? Imagine a perfect Gundam Astray frame. All of the weapons from all of the variations put on. It would be a mangaka's dream and a Bandai designer nightmare.